I feel like everybody has their own like way and preference for watering. I will always be an avid bottom waterer, and I just find that it's the easiest way to water, and it kind of, like nobody likes fungus gnats, nobody likes all those sort of things, and this is kind of just a way to water your plants but not have to worry about getting all those. So I'm going to show you how to do that and when to tell when to water as well, because I know we all have fallen victim to overwatering our plants. So let's go through some of my plants that I think need watering just by looking at them, and I'll tell you why I think that, and then we'll go through how to bottom water, how long to bottom water, all that sort of stuff. So the first one is my silver striped philodendron, and I just know that I haven't watered him in a while, so it seems a bit suspicious and seems like he might need to be watered, because I've always had a hard time telling from philodendron leaves when to water because they always just look a bit wrinkly and a bit off, a bit weird. So I use toothpicks to tell if the soil is dried out enough, because I don't really like using my fingers for that, because I feel like I can't really quite tell when the soil is properly dried out or if it just is like actually a bit wet, because it all just feels cold and wet to me. So what I do is I have this pack of like 500 toothpicks, and so I just take a little toothpick and then I stick it directly into the soil at the top, kind of just as far as I can go, and these toothpicks are about as deep as a 4-inch pot. And then I take it out, and if there's stuff on it, then I don't water, and if there's nothing on it, then I do water. And I'll get closer to show you exactly what this looks like. So this is what a toothpick looks like when it's completely dry. There's nothing really on it. There's like some specks of dirt, but you can't really see anything that would indicate that it's wet. For some contrast, I will stick a toothpick into some soil that I know I watered just because I watered it like 2 days ago. We'll do my begonia here actually, because I'm pretty sure I just watered that, so it should be nice and wet, so we can get an example of what that would look like. Yes, that's a lot of stuff on that toothpick. So I'll come show you a comparison of the wet toothpick versus the dry toothpick, so you can tell the difference and you can learn to not overwater your plants simply by sticking a toothpick in them. So here are the two toothpicks. You can see the one on the left is the one that I stuck in the begonia, and it's the one that was just watered 2 days ago. And the one on the right is the completely dry silver striped philodendron. And I tapped both of these a bit off on the pot, so some of the stuff that was on the toothpicks fell off. And as you can see, the one that was wet and does not need watering still has a lot of stuff on it, so it definitely does not need to be watered anytime soon. So that's just one of the ways that I go through to tell if my plants need to be watered or not. That one's a kind of just more sure way. If the leaves don't really indicate to me that it needs to be watered, I can always do that and it will always tell me if it does or doesn't. However, some plants show you a bit more on their leaves if they do need to be watered. Begonias, for instance, they kind of flatten out a bit. And pothos and scindapsus as well will either droop or their leaves will kind of curl. And I noticed on my satin pothos the other day, the leaves are quite curly and they don't look as firm as I'm used to them looking. And I'll get this closer to the camera so you can see. But after you have it for a while too, it just feels a bit lighter. Like when you pick it up, you're just like, there's not as much weight to that pot, and that's a surefire way to tell that you need to water it. So let me show you what the leaves look like though, so you can kind of tell what scindapsus leaves look like and feel like when they need to be watered. So here's my plant, and as you can see, this leaf even right here is usually flat like this, and it looks very like plump, if you will, and firm. And I can easily fold it like that, and you can see it curls and then it stays kind of that way. And this is more apparent in the older leaves, like this one for instance. You can see it just completely curls in like that. So you don't even need to do like the taco test on it, but if you did, it completely folds. And so that's a really good indicator that it needs to be watered, because it should not fold like that. It should be very stiff. So the leaves should be looking nice, full, and firm like they do on the scindapsus. And you can see this does not bend as easily at all as the other one. And there's no deforming left in the leaf after I bend it. It doesn't stay that way. It pops right back out to its original position. Whereas on the other plant, it stayed a bit bent and a bit in that curved position. So in order to bottom water, you'd really just need a tray, whether that's one that's kind of shallow like this, or I've recently invested in these deeper ones. That way I don't have to refill them quite as often, because what you do is you take the tray and you put your plant in it, and then fill it up, and then the plant will take from that water, so then the levels will drop and you just need to make sure that it's full enough to give the plant the water that it needs. If you don't have trays though, and you do use cache pots, what I have done in the past, and still sometimes do if I'm a bit short on just the trays, if I'm using all of them, if it's a big watering day, all that sort of stuff. None of my cache pots have drainage in them. I think none of them do. If they do, I don't do this method, obviously. But since there's no drainage, I can fill this up with water and nothing will leak out. So if I need to bottom water something and I don't have a tray available, I'll just fill this up with water and plop the plant in there, and then it will soak up water from that, and I'll come just drain it out after it's done watering, and that will be it. So it's super easy to do and you don't really need anything. I'm going to give you a little close-up of how this looks because it's just so satisfying to see all the water draining out from that plant. So yeah, we'll hop into that. So other than that, I don't really do like a set schedule for my watering. I really just check my plants periodically, maybe once a week, to see if they do need water. And if I notice a plant looks really wilted or thirsty, I will water it. But I don't really do like, oh, water every 2 weeks, water every week, and that sort of stuff, just because I find that each plant's different and each week is different. So that is all today on my bottom watering technique and schedule and whatnot. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope it helps you not overwater your plants just a bit more. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.